Alright, so let's try recording this video for a third time, and let's hope nobody decides to ring my doorbell or interrupt me. I'm filming this video because I recently subscribed to Chaos Cass on YouTube. She's an adorably awkward girl who makes gaming videos. I make gaming videos, although not with the same frequency as she does, so I should get off my ass and do that. But in her video, she mentioned that she was getting into Warhammer 40k, and that she was going to be playing a Tyrannid army. Well, as you can see, I also have a Tyrannid. I actually have several thousand points worth of Tyrannids. So they were my first army and my first pride and joy, but I have recently kind of shelved them for a secondary Warhammer project, one that takes up a little bit less space, so I don't have to carry around 8 suitcases of Tyrannids, because I have a lot of them. Okay, that's exaggeration. I only have 3 suitcases full of Tyrannids. But I play rather regularly, and it is kind of annoying to have to carry 3 big carrying cases. So I swapped them in for some Grey Knight goodness. I don't know if I can get a good zoom in on this. But yes, so this is my Grey Knight Dread Knight. Not quite finished, a lot of detail work still to do. But this is him. And I'm sorry for shaky cam, but I don't really have a webcam proper setup right now. So you'll have to forgive me. There's a reason I normally only do gameplay videos. So yes, this is my Dread Knight. And on a very similar note, yes, I'm reaching forward, so it's taking a lot of strain. And on that same project, let me reach for my other little thing, my Razorback for my Grey Knights. I would gladly show you guys, yeah, that bright light's not really helping. I would gladly show you guys my Terminator squad and stuff, but it's in my suitcase, so you'll have to deal with it. Put on my sunglasses, deal with it. Now Cass had some main concerns, well, kind of concerns, but questions about the game, and she said she wasn't very new with it. Hello, cat. How are you doing? My cat is coming to say hello, and please don't bite me. Okay, good. He's not biting today. I believe she was talking about how she's clumsy and drops her models, and they like to explode. Well, Ms. Cass, here is some Ripper Swarms, and you will see they do not explode into pieces. That was them falling on the floor. And when I picked them back up, oh my god, they have not exploded into pieces. That is the wonders of plastic glue. You can normally buy it at Games Workshop. Where the hell did I put that bottle? I literally just had it 2 minutes ago until somebody rang my fucking doorbell. Okay, so this is the plastic glue. So plastic glue thick. I believe Games Workshop now makes a thin model as well, which is more liquid and precision tipped. I only really ever used the old thick stuff, because when I worked for Games Workshop, they didn't have 2 kinds, they only had this kind. Okay, so you really want to use this when you're gluing together your Games Workshop models, okay? Because what this does is it essentially melts the plastic. So you don't want to slather it or lather it all over your models, but it creates a permanent bond between the plastic pieces. As I said, it melts the plastic, and then when it dries, the plastic dries, and it creates like a weld. You can literally glue together a Space Marine and pretty much throw it across your room as hard as you can, and it shouldn't come apart, okay, unless you hadn't glued it properly and really like pressed it and held it for a bit and then let it dry properly. It shouldn't come apart. To the point where some of my old Tyrannid models, when I wanted to modify the guns they had on, for new additions because certain guns got more powerful. I literally had to break their arms off, and their arms broke. You couldn't just pop it out of the socket like yours are doing. I literally had to take like clippers and like clip their arms out, and then take a drill bit and drill it out. So it's a very, very permanent bond. I tried something which was a little bit cheaper because the plastic glue at Games Workshop typically sells for, I believe, somewhere between $8 and $10, at least here in Canada anyway. You might be in Canada because you said that a Tyranid Battle Force was $150, which in Canada that's roughly the cost before tax. Unless you live in a state that has some kind of really high taxes, then I will shut up. You can also get this. So this is Tamiya cement. Most people who do like car models and stuff use this kind of stuff. What I like about this is it's got a brush. And this little brush can help you with precision applications, which can be very helpful. But what I find is really weird with this, I don't know if it's just me, but I don't find that the glue is as good. It doesn't seem to adhere well or as well as the Games Workshop stuff. Maybe it's just because the Games Workshop stuff you end up putting on a crap load because it's very hard to control the flow. Maybe that's it. But yeah, so that's tip number 1. Use plastic glue on plastic models. The only time you should be using super glue is for resin models like this Tech Marine that I will be working on in the next little while. They have to have super glue. Anything that's not plastic on plastic requires super glue. Even when you're gluing plastic to something that's not plastic, you need to have super glue. Okay? So that is the first thing that you should know. It's one of the fundamentals to games workshopping. I did see somebody post and correct you. You don't absolutely have to have 3 colors on your model, but it is for tournament purposes, and it was because when I worked there, you had people who would buy a lot of stuff and they would come in and want to play, but then they're just putting gray plastic models on the table. And what happens is it's very hard to sell the hobby to somebody when it's just shitty gray plastic models on the table. When I play with friends now, I still prefer a painted army because it just looks amazing. When you have a fully painted army, it just looks fantastic. Okay, you can't compete with that. It actually just makes you feel awesome. And I actually get jealous when I see people playing with full painted armies, and I'm stuck playing with an army that's about half painted at best. So you don't have to do 3 colors, but if you don't use 3 colors, make it look like you've put some serious effort into your painting. You will notice, give me 1 second, I gotta blow some dust off of this bad boy, that this is my old Carnifex model. He's primarily brown, and yeah, you'll see that there's 3 colors, but it's actually the same brown kind of thing. It's like a darker brown, and you just add lighter paint to it to kind of lighten it up. And then there's like the pinks for like the adrenal gland and for his gun and his mouth. So you don't have to really go crazy on the painting. It's kind of hard to give you a really good shot because the way I have my setup right now with this bright light. Try turning it off, see if that makes a difference. It's actually worse. Now you can't see anything. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of dark, but whatever. What are you going to do? Okay. So, wow. So here we go. Okay, so that gives you kind of an idea. I guess it's 3 colors, but I don't really consider it 3 colors. There's not crazy contrast. Just, I mean, put effort into what you're painting, and most people will not complain. Alright, yes, half of his face is missing. So that's one of the models I've painted. I also, because I work for Games Workshop, I had to have a Lord of the Rings army. So this is part of my Lord of the Rings Isengard army. My troll. I really wish I had a better camera to show you guys this, but hey, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay, so there you go. Don't worry too much about the 3 colors. Get yourself some plastic glue. Also, get yourself some of this liquid green stuff. Okay, you want some of this. Never, ever, ever skip out on primer. I'm very glad that I saw you using primer. A lot of kids are like, oh, but primer is expensive, but you really can't beat it. Okay, you should always have primer. Green stuff, especially on your big monsters, when you assemble them, you may have gaps in the plastic. You use the green stuff as a filler. You brush that into the cracks, and then you sand it. Or in this case, with the liquid green stuff, you can sand it, but you just kind of use that to smooth over bumps or smooth gaps, and it makes a nice flat surface. So keep that in mind. I've been rambling a lot. I'm really sorry. It's a long video, but I will eventually get into doing a painting tutorial, as well as like how to prep your models for removing mold lines, etc. Am I the best hobbyist in the world? No, probably not. I'm probably about average. I mean, a lot of people tell me I'm really good at painting, but I think I'm just average. So, I mean, there's pretty basic techniques. You might think that this looks like, oh, crazy detail. But literally, this I did mostly with an airbrush, by the way. At least the base coat was all airbrush. But I will show you some basic techniques such as dry brushing. I kind of really hate dry brushing now, but it still has some pretty good practices. And using washes, also a really, really good way to get top results for getting out all those little detail. I think Cass had mentioned that there was like a lot of little details on the guy, so don't assemble them first. In Tyranid cases, I almost always entirely assemble my models before I paint them. The only exception is certain gun arms or certain big models when I see that certain pieces will interfere. But for the most part, I assemble that shit fully and then I paint it. I may leave the base off as well. But other than that, I mean, it's very rare that you won't paint everything fully assembled. I'll see if I can get you an example here. So an example is going to be my gunship that I'm also currently working on. There are some pieces I did not fully assemble, like this cockpit piece. I take it off because I am so retarded that I chose to paint the cockpit, including the driver, who's not part of it. So he comes out, this little dash bit comes out, and it's actually not even glued shut yet because I did paint the interior. Please don't fall. Oh my god, I don't have enough paint. I did paint the interior as well, but like, see, this is still in the process of being assembled. We have a lot of loose bits that I can move off. Even the wings and this here aren't attached. They're just kind of sitting on it for now. So there's very few models that I actually paint in pieces. Tanks are one of them. The Dread Knight was one of them because of the airbrushing required. But for the most part, I assemble them all, and then I used to use mostly dry brushing and washes. So yeah, don't be afraid. If you want more advice, more tips, more tricks, let me know. And I'll post another video for you, Cass, hopefully to give you a helping hand. Other than that, love your positive, friendly attitude. I think that you're adorable, and I mean, just keep it up. Don't get discouraged. It's something that happens. Everybody gets discouraged. Their army doesn't go together fast enough. Whatever. You get discouraged really easily, but there is a huge sense of satisfaction with getting your whole army painted and on the table for your first game. With that, I'm going to shut up because it's been a long video. I probably rivaled yours. I'll probably do some editing on this afterwards, just to kind of get rid of the ums and uhs and and ers and stuff. But glad to see you're in the hobby. I hope I can, or I have and can give you some advice. And if you want, I mean, you can track me down on Steam, on Xbox, or whatever. Friend me. I have a shitload of games on all consoles, including PS3 and Xbox. So hey, whatever, maybe we can be friends. Who knows? Whatever. Cool. Yeah, that's it. I'm done. So I will see you all, or mostly other people. This mostly applies to Cass. Whatever. See you all some other time. And I'll get back to posting gaming videos one of these days. Alright, bye-bye.